Welcome, dear viewers. Today we will travel to the United States of America with some valuable information. Please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive America State of America. It is called the United States of America, and it is a republican state with a federal constitution, and it consists of 50 states. Washington is its political and official capital, and the official language in it is English, and its indigenous people condemn the Christian religion, and other religions spread in it as a result of the presence of immigrants from all over the world, such as Islamic, Jewish, and others, and it ranks third in the world in terms of population. It is located specifically between the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, and is bordered on the northern and eastern sides by Canada, on the southern side by Mexico, on the northwest side by the state of Alaska, and on the western side lies Russia and is separated from it by a strait called the Bering, and it owns lands and islands in the Caribbean Sea and others in the Pacific Ocean. Until now, America is considered the most powerful country historically, on the military, economic and scientific levels. It also featured the most powerful inventions and discoveries, such as cars, planes and television, in addition to laptops and various electrical appliances. Therefore, its residents are the most citizens who have won Nobel Prizes in all fields and in various branches. The date it is believed that the first people to inhabit America, that is, its indigenous people, are a group who immigrated from the Asian continent to the United States, about 40 to 12,000 years ago, and when they arrived in North and South America for the first time, most of them were infected with various diseases and epidemics, most notably smallpox, and now it has become an independent country by itself, since the 4th of July of the year 1776 AD, and the state of Texas was annexed to it in the year 1845 AD, as America triumphed over Mexico and took California and large parts of Western America from it. 323,485,000 people, of whom more than 11 million are legal and legal immigrants, and its area is about 2,959,000 square miles, noting that its original size or area is about 3,790,000 square miles. Therefore, it ranks third in the world in terms of area that includes land and Government and Politics. America, or the United States, is the oldest federation in the world, and it still enjoys this thing to this day, and what is meant is the existence of a representative democratic constitution that specializes in the rights and protection of minorities, through specific laws and legislation, and it also enjoys great influence in the world. As a result of its importance in political, economic and military power, it enjoys permanent membership in the United Nations Council of the United Nations, and has strong relations with other powerful countries such as Japan, the Philippines and Russia, in addition to South Korea, France and Germany. How America was formed. After the War of Independence in the year 1783, the history of America began, where it was under British colonialism, and it came out with this revolution with a limited number of states, numbering 13 states, and its population did not exceed 4 million people, and within a period of 150 years it became the greatest and richest power in the world and has been maintaining that for more than 50 years. And its first launch was towards the Pacific Ocean at the expense of the Native Americans of the region. Then it purchased Louisiana in the year 1803 from France, then seized the state of Florida in the year 1819 from Spain, and in the year 1848 annexed Texas and California from Mexico after its victory in the war. In a short period of time, it was able to transform from a small country spread on the coasts of the Atlantic Ocean into a continent that dominated the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. At first it was a confederation, then it turned into a federation, and its borders remained the same for 150 years. For many years, the residents of America were considered British citizens, and they used to pay taxes, and in the year 1773 AD, the Americans revolted against British colonialism and refused to pay taxes, especially the residents of Boston, and that was in exchange for importing tea, and they threw tea boxes with water as an expression of their protest, and this incident is called the Boston Tea Party, and it was the first stage of their revolution against Britain to obtain independence. So Britain sent an army to suppress the revolution, and a war broke out, which resulted in the independence of America, and among the reasons for the revolution, we mention the following. The imposition of taxes on them was the cause of the rebellion of the American population and the rise of their revolution. And among these imposed taxes, the stamp tax, and the sugar tax, as the Americans believed that they were not obligated to pay such taxes that they did not participate in approving. The Stamp Act imposed on them by Britain. They were required to buy stamps as a tax on publications. The 7 Years' War, which lasted from 1756-1763 AD. Education. The age of 6 years is the most prevalent age for enrollment in school education in the U.S. states, and school education continues until the age of 18 years, and the student leaving school without reaching the secondary stage is considered a dropout from school, and a smart student can graduate from school early, because he was able to skip the official degrees of education in the United States, where each academic year is called a degree, and education in the primary stage is from the 1st grade to the 4th grade or from the 1st grade to the 7th grade according to the standards specified in each state, and the period of education in the intermediate stage reaches about 3 years, and education is in the secondary stage from the 7th grade to the 12th grade, and the determination of the ranks of this stage also depends on the educational system in each U.S. state. 3. As for the higher education stage, it contains many academic specializations that are offered through 4,500 institutions specialized in the higher education sector in the U.S. states, and educational institutions obtain their financing through tuition fees, grants, and financial allocations. Economy. The economy of the United States of America is classified as the largest in the world, as it owns a rate ranging between 17%-22% of the global gross product, and America uses the dollar currency as its official currency, and it is the currency of international use in the field of global trade, and it also constitutes a reserve currency for many countries of the world. And the American economy has a mixed nature, because of the direct intervention of the private sector in the country, and this contributed to maintaining the stability of the economic growth rate for many years, and the American economy relies on many foundations that provide support for it, the most important of which are natural resources, agricultural and industrial products, the field of services, innovation, research, and investments. Capitalism. Society and population. The population in the United States of America forms part of American society, and the majority of their origins go back to European countries. The largest ethnic groups living in society belong to Ireland, Germany and the United Kingdom, and the use of English is widespread as the primary language in American society, and this language is mixed with vocabulary borrowed from the languages of the immigrant and Indian populations, so many words were borrowed from the Spanish, Dutch, German, and French languages. Christianity and Judaism are spread among the majority of the population of the United States of America, and Christianity appears in the Roman Catholic and Protestant sects, and the Catholic community is the largest Christian sect in the United States. As for the Jews, they arrived in America as immigrants who settled in its northeastern lands, and a large group of them still exists in those lands, as well as Muslim, Buddhist and Hindu populations live in America. The Statue of Liberty. This statue is considered a distinctive American icon. The Statue of Liberty is an important gift presented by the French Republic in the late 19th century to the United States, in order to strengthen the relations of friendship and cooperation between the two countries, as this statue was presented on the occasion of the centenary of the American Revolution that occurred in the last quarter of the 18th century. Smithsonian Institute. This institute is considered one of the most prominent educational institutions concerned with the fields of scientific research, in addition to the presence of a group of important museums, which are considered major points of attraction for large numbers of visitors. The institute is managed by the U.S. government, and its facilities are distributed in many American regions, including Virginia, Washington, D.C., New York, Panama, and others. The institute also includes more than 140 million items in its holdings list. Hollywood. This area, located in Los Angeles County, California, is famous for its popularity. One of the most important American states, because it contains a large number of the most important film studios in the United States, and even in the whole world, as it is considered a major and historical center for the film industry in the United States and all regions of the world. The name of this region has become used to denote American cinema. Disneyland. Disney is one of the most famous game cities around the world, and it opened for the first time in California in the year 1955 AD, and it is owned by the famous American Walt Disney Company. This city has expanded greatly, as it was able to open many branches around the world, including Florida, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Paris. Lincoln Monument. U.S. President Abraham Lincoln is considered one of the most famous American personalities who contributed to transforming and changing the history of the whole world. Hence, this distinguished monument was built in the American capital, Washington, to perpetuate his memory and to show his grace. The number of stars in the American flag. The American national flag contains 50 stars, since the 4th of July 1960, and the ratio of the width of the flag to its length is 10:19, where these stars symbolize the 50 states of America, and under them there is a blue background, with a frame that contains 13 alternating lines, which in turn, it is divided into 7 red lines and 6 white lines, symbolizing the original 13 states of America, which were collected in 3 groups, which are the Central Colonies, which included the province of New Jersey, the colony of Delaware, the province of New York, the Royal Colony, the province of Pennsylvania, and the colonies of New York. England, which included all of Rhode Island, Connecticut, the province of Massachusetts Bay, the province of New Hampshire, and the southern colonies, and included all of the state of Carolina, the colony of Virginia, the state of Maryland, and the province of Georgia. The red color in the flag symbolizes courage and valor, while the white represents innocence and purity, and the blue color indicates vigilance, perseverance, and justice. History of science. The first flag of the United States was adopted on June 14, 1777, and then many changes were made to it. The current flag of the United States is its 27th flag. The flag consisted of 48 stars over 47 years, and a star was added to the official flag on July 4, 1959. Then another star was added on August 21, 1959, bringing the official number of stars in the flag to 50 stars. And this flag was approved in July 1960, and it was used 57 years ago, and it is the longest used version of the flag. 3. And Francis Hopkinson designed the first American flag, while the American flag currently in use was designed by Robert Hift, who was 17 years old, and he designed the flag as a high school project in 1958. States of America. There are 50 states in America, where there is a star for each of them on the flag, and these states are Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas State, California State, Colorado State, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia State, Hawaii State, Idaho, Illinois State, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas State, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan State, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana State, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire State, New Jersey, New Mexico State, New York State, North Carolina, North Dakota State, Ohio State, Oklahoma State, Oregon, Pennsylvania State, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota State, Tennessee, Texas State, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington State, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Wyoming. U.S. Army. The number of the American Army, or the United States Army, is about 1,347,300 active employees, as it is considered one of the largest armies in the world, with a military budget of $610 billion, which is much larger than the budget of the largest army in the world, which is the Army of China, which has a budget $216 billion, and the U.S. Army is considered one of the best trained armies, and it is one of the most powerful armies in the world, as it possesses the largest advances in technologies, such as the new railway weapon in war, the best trained manpower, and the largest nuclear arsenal in the world. United States Army. The United States Army is the main branch of the United States Armed Forces charged with maintaining peace, security, and defense of the country. General categories of military personnel, namely, active duty, which are full-time soldiers and sailors, reserve and guard forces, which usually work in a civilian job and can be called up for military duty, veterans and retirees, which are former members of the military, millions of family members, and friends of military members. Functions of branches of the United States Army. Each branch of the military has a unique mission within the overall mission of American peace and security, which is as follows: Air Force and Air Force Reserves, the United States' source of air and space power, and its primary missions are flying planes, helicopters, and satellites. Air National Guard, a separate reserve component of the United States Air Force. The Army and the Reserve Army. It is the dominant ground force, and the Army usually moves to an area, works to secure and organize it, and works to guard American installations and properties all over the world. Army National Guard. An elite group of warriors who dedicate part of their time to serving their nation, and each state has its own guard, as required by the Constitution. Coast Guard and Coast Guard Reserve. The Coast Guard's mission is centered on local waterways, performing rescue, law enforcement, drug interdiction, and waterway clearance. Marine Corps and Marine Corps. The Marine Corps is known as the Quick Reaction Force, which is trained to fight by sea and land, and the Marine Corps is known as the toughest warriors in the world. Navy and Marine Reserve. The Navy accomplishes its missions mainly by sea, by air and by land. It secures and protects the oceans all over the world to create peace and stability, making the seas safe for travel and trade. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new updates.